of their institutions continue to reassure businesses, residents, and the wider community. It's my privilege to warmly welcome you all to this important IBPC event on current situation in supply chain, freight, logistics, and operational continuity. We are deeply honored to have with us two distinguished IBPC governors and outstanding industry leaders, Mr. Ramesh Ramakrishnan, Chairman of Transworld, and Ms. Shahdadpuri, Chairman of Nikai Group. We are deeply honored by the presence of our chief guest, His Excellency Abdulla Bin Damithan, Chairman of Ports, Customs and Tourism Corporation. We are deeply delighted to have with us our distinguished panelists, Ms. Nadia, Aziz, President of National Captain Swaminathan, Rajagopalan, Managing Director of CMA CGM UAE. We are also grateful to Ms. Siddhi Joshi, CEO of E-Movers, for moderating the panel discussion later this evening. I would like to acknowledge the presence of IBPC leadership, our sponsors, members, board members of NAFL and Tech, and the invited attendees. Thank you all for joining us this evening. The subject of today's event is both timely and highly relevant. Across the region and beyond, businesses are facing pressures on movement of goods, trade flows, freight, shipping schedules, logistics execution, and operational continuity. In such an environment, resilience is no longer only an operational issue, it has become a strategic business priority. Dubai and UAE has, over the past 5 decades, faced multiple major disruptions, from the tanker war of mid-80s to the Gulf War, the global financial crisis, COVID-19, the recent Red Sea disruptions, and the present regional tensions. Yet each time, Dubai and UAE has demonstrated resilience, adaptability, and renewed strength. That is a tribute to the quality of the leadership, the strength of institutions, and the long-term vision that has shaped this nation. Dubai's rise as a global center for trade and logistics did not happen by chance. It's the result of the grand and forward-looking vision of its rulers, from the foundational foresight of His Highness Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum to the bold global ambition of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. That vision was then translated into reality by remarkable industry leaders such as Sultan bin Sulaim, Jamal Majid bin Tania, and Mohammed Sharaf, whose contributions helped shape Dubai into the world's most trusted and efficient trade and logistics hub. My own journey in UAE's port and logistics ecosystem began years ago with DP World, and my first employment card in Dubai was issued by Ports, Customs and Tourism Corporation. This evening is intended not merely to describe the challenge before us, but to encourage practical dialogue, informed perspective, and constructive solutions. We hope the discussion will help all of us better understand the current situation and identify how government, infrastructure operators, logistics providers, and business users can work together. To set the, I would say that to set the context of the evening from industry and business perspective, it's my privilege to invite Sri Ramesh Ramakrishnan, Chairman of Transworld and IBPC Governor, to address the gathering. He is one of the region's most respected and well-known leaders in shipping and logistics. Mr. Ramesh Ramakrishnan is a recipient of the Pravasi Bharat Samman in 2025, which is the highest honor conferred by Government of India on overseas Indians. May I request Mr. Ramesh Ramakrishnan to kindly address us.
ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I want to compliment and congratulate the IBPC team for putting up such a wonderful event this evening. This is very, very topical, and I'm sure this is going to raise a lot of questions and a lot of interest amongst all of us over here. Before I get started, it is my duty to introduce my very dear friend, Abdulla Bin Damithan. Of course, now he has been conferred with the title of Excellency. I would want all of you to. So, Excellency Abdulla Bin Damithan. He serves as chairman of the Ports, Customs and Free Zone Corporation, where he indeed oversees the strategic direction of Dubai's integrated trade, ports, customs and free zone ecosystems, supporting the Emirates' economic growth, global connectivity and the long-term competitiveness. With more than 2 decades of leadership experience across trade, logistics, ports and supply chain sectors, he's played a key role in strengthening Dubai's position as one of the world's leading hubs for trade, logistics and investment. Prior to his appointment, I think he's known to most of us as he's become the chairman of PCFC in February 26, but he's held several senior leadership positions within DP World, most recently serving as the CEO and the Managing Director of DP World GCC, and previously CEO and Managing Director of DP World UAE. Since joining DP World in 2001, he's helped drive the organization's transformation into a global trade enabler, leading initiatives across ports, economic zones, logistics, and trade solutions. A respected leader within the maritime and logistics sector, he continues to champion innovation, resilience, and collaboration across the wider trade ecosystem, supporting Dubai's ambition to remain a leading global center for trade, logistics, and investment. And I must say here that I had the privilege to know him when he joined DP World as a management trainee way back in 2001. And over the years, I've seen him growing in stature, taking on great responsibilities, and being greatly connected with each one of us as a customer to DP World. So thank you very much, Abdullah, for coming in and being here with all of us. Now, before we start the evening, I want to share 3 phrases from Sanskrit. One is Atati Shakti, the other one is Stairya and Vidriti. These are 3 important phrases, and these 3 phrases embodies Dubai and UAE leadership. The 3 words capture the ability to endure hardships, maintain inner strength, and the ability to bounce back. That's what it tries to tell us. Even when you cut a tree, it grows again. Even when it grows again. Even when it wanes, the moon grows once more in the sky, reflecting upon its natural cycle. The wise, in fact, do not despair, even in the midst of hardships. And this is what we see in Dubai, the tenacity, the capability, the understanding, the vision of the government here. In fact, they are the ones who've been sort of showing us the way all these years. Now, let me talk about something that touches every business in this room. Whether you run a restaurant, a retail chain, a logistic company, or a manufacturing operation, or the state supply chain, freight, and operational continuity here in the UAE. Let's in fact start with the elephant in the room. Since late February, we are all aware the region has been living through the most severe disruption to the Strait of Hormuz in modern history. Traffic through the waterway, which used to carry all around a fifth of the world's oil and LNG, has fallen by as much as 90 to 95%. Hundreds of vessels have been stranded. Tens and thousands of seafarers are caught in a limbo. And the freight rates on key routes have doubled or even got worse. This isn't a distant geopolitical headline. It is the single biggest variable shaping cost structures and delivery timelines for every import-dependent business in this country today. And yet, here we are, shelves in Dubai, and Abu Dhabi and the entire UAE are stocked. Restaurants are serving, factories are running. That, in fact, is not an accident. It is a result of a logistics system that has been quietly absorbing enormous trade. The UAE government has been clear that the country holds strategic food reserves sufficient for roughly 6 months, and that buffer has brought the entire economy time to adapt. So, how is the system adapting? Three things stand out. First, rerouting. Companies that often relied on the Gulf transit are now sending cargo around the Cape of Good Hope. That's in fact adding 10 or maybe 14 days to every shipment, or routing through Jeddah and the UAE's East Coast ports like Fujairah, which sit outside the strait entirely. The second one is obviously the modal shift. We are seeing a marked increase in the air freight volumes for high value or time sensitive goods, even though it comes at a very steep cost premium. The third, in fact, is the diversification of suppliers and carriers, with business spreading risk across more origins and more partners than they ever needed to before. Incidentally, with this happening, what we see is the ability for the Indian subcontinent or the nearer region to get more and more. Even we all know that the trade between India and the UAE is rising so consistently and so fast. With all this development, the chances of the relationship and the quantum of business that can happen is going to be consistently increasing. So there is also an opportunity while we see a lot of these challenges at this point in time. What does actually this mean operationally? For those of us running business here, it means transit time assumptions that were reliable for years no longer hold. It means freight cost needs to be built into pricing and contracts as a variable, not a constant. It means cold chain and inventory planning need real buffers, not lean just-in-time models. And it means relationships with freight forwarders and customs partners, shipping lines, ports matter more than ever, because in a fast-moving situation, the business that move quickly are the ones with people who can make decisions and not just process paperwork. The honest truth is that nobody can promise when this is going to resolve. The diplomatic efforts are ongoing, but even optimistic estimates suggest it would be well into 2027 before cargo flows through Hormuz return to anything like a normalcy. That means the adaptations many of us are making now aren't temporary fixes. These are likely to be the operating model for the foreseeable future. But I want to end this note. As we heard from Sam a while back, the UAE has weathered COVID, the Suez blockage, Red Sea crisis. Each time the logistic network here proved deeper and more adaptable than people expected. The current situation is testing that resilience harder than ever before, and it is costing all of us more in time, in money, and in planning effort. But the system is holding. The job now is to plan for a world where flexibility, buffers, and diversified routing aren't contingency plans. They are the baseline. So before I conclude, I want to go back to the three phrases that I said. One is Atati Shakti, Stairya, and Vidriti. This is simply to endure hardships, maintain inner strength, and bounce back. This is the lesson that we've all learned here, but I'm very certain that we have seen so many of these uncertainties. It is the people who make all the difference. And I'm sure that we will get past this and we will begin to see better days. Once again, I want to thank all of you all for coming in here this evening to attend this very important topic. It is something which is going to affect our business if we don't be nimble. Unless we start looking forward with objectivity, with positivity, you can get into a hole. But the important thing is to be very sure that we will face this with all the courage and the strength that is needed. This is what we learn from the government of UAE, the government of Dubai, and the professionals who are all around. And thank you very much to all of you all for giving me an opportunity. I again thank all of you all for coming in and being here and being a part of this evening. Thanks a lot.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to join you tonight and to be among many of leaders. And I thank Mr. Ramesh, Sam, Asad, and all of you. And to be among you as a professionals who contribute to one of the most important sectors supporting Dubai economy and global connectivity. I know IBPC doesn't only confine only to logistics, but also traders. But I would like to thank IBPC for bringing together such an experienced group of industrial leaders and stakeholders from across the trade, logistics, and supply chain community. Not as many sectors are closely connected to Dubai growth story as trade and logistics, and for decades, Dubai has built its position as a global hub by connecting market, facilitating commerce, and enabling the movement of goods, people, and investment across the region. That success has never been accidental. It has been built through long-term planning, continuous investment, strong partnership, and commitment to maintaining world-class infrastructure and service that support global trade, like Mr. Ramesh has mentioned and Sam in their own speeches. But today, we find ourselves operating with an environment that continues to evolve. Business across the world are navigating supply chain pressure, cost considerations, and broader global geopolitical development that require agility and adaptability. Recent regional development have tested supply chain, as we all have experienced, trade routes, as rightly said, and operational planning across multiple sectors. While these challenges has created understandable uncertainty, they have also reinforced the importance of preparation, coordination, and the ability to adapt quickly when circumstances change. Rather than waiting for conditions to normalize, Dubai continue to create practical alternatives that keep trade moving, business operating, a supply chain connected, as you have all witnessed over the last 3 months. As we have seen throughout Dubai history, periods of disruption often provide valuable lessons that strengthen our ability to respond, improve, and prepare for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenge may change, but our principle remains consistent. Infrastructure moves cargo. Confident move trade. Confident that goods will continue to move. Confident that supply chain will remain connected. Confident that business can continue serving customers and market. And confident that the institution supporting trade are prepared to respond, adapt, and deliver continuity when it matters most. Dubai's strength has never been the absence of challenges. Our strength has been our ability to anticipate change, adapt quickly, and work collectively to maintain momentum. Dubai's ability to respond effectively is supported by strong governance, capable operators, world-class infrastructure, and exceptional global connectivity. Throughout its history, Dubai has consistently demonstrated resilience by responding proactively to changing circumstances while continuing to invest in the future. The approach remains just as important today. As a trade and logistics community, we recognize that resilience is not built during period of disruption. Resilience is built long before it is tested. It is built through preparation. It is built through investment. It is built through collaboration. And it is built through a shared community to continuity and long-term growth. So in Dubai and across our wider ecosystem, we remain focused on enabling trade, supporting business community, and strengthening the foundation that allow commercial to thrive. One of the most important lessons from recent months has been the value of collaboration. During period of uncertainty, maintaining continuity requires more than infrastructure alone. It requires government entities, customer and customs authority, ports and logistics providers, shipping line, traders and customers to work together toward shared solution. Through coordinating effort across the UAE, close coordination with neighboring countries, and continuing engagement with the industrial stakeholder, practical measures were introduced to support cargo movement, facilitate trade flow, and minimize disruption wherever possible. Recent developments have also reinforced the importance of diversification, flexibility, and maintaining multiple pathways that support continuity across the wider trade ecosystem. The Green Corridor initiative is one example of how collaboration can create practical solutions during challenging circumstances. More important, it is demonstrate what can be achieved when institutions, operators, government, and businesses align around a common objective. This includes continued investment in infrastructure, technology, operational excellence, and customer-focused service that enhance efficiency, connectivity, and reliability. The success of any trade ecosystem depends not only on the world-class infrastructure, but also on strong partnership and collaboration across government entity, trade operators, logistics provider, and the wider business community. And if we see over the recent month, industry forums and stakeholder engagement like the one we have here today have brought together customs authority, port, logistics operator, shipping line, traders, and regional partners to identify challenges, share insight, and develop practical solutions. These conversations reinforce an important reality. No single organization can build resilience alone. Resilience is strengthened when information is shared, risks are understood collectively, and stakeholders work together to maintain continuity across entire supply chain. Our ability to share knowledge, coordinate effectively, and work together toward common objective will continue to be one of our greatest advantages. Looking ahead, I remain confident in Dubai's future, and Dubai has never allowed uncertainty to define its ambition. From previous regional challenges, as mentioned also, to global economic shock and the COVID-19 pandemic, the Emirates have consistently demonstrated an ability to adapt, invest, and emerge even stronger. We are continuing to invest in infrastructure, connectivity, innovation, and long-term growth initiatives. Major development projects continue to move forward, as you have seen in Dubai, and our commitment to strengthening Dubai's position as a leading global center for trade, logistics, and investment remain unchanged. Resilience is not achieved by standing still, ladies and gentlemen. It is achieved by continuing to build, innovate, and prepare for our opportunity ahead. While no one can predict exactly how current development will evolve, and I hope it's much earlier than 2027, Mr. Ramesh, but history has consistently shown that trade adopts, market adjusts, and new opportunity emerge. The important question is not whether conditions will change. The question is whether we are prepared to adapt with them. This is precisely why Dubai continues to invest, preparing and building for the future, even during periods of uncertainty. The recently approved 300 billion plus budget for 2026 to 2028, the largest in Emirates history, reflect a long-term commitment to infrastructure, connectivity, economic growth, and future readiness. It is also aligned with the ambition of Dubai Economic Agenda, D33, which seeks to further strengthen Dubai's position as one of the world leading centers for trade, investment, and economic opportunity. These commitments send an important message to business and investors. Resilience is not built by waiting for conditions to improve. It is built through continuous investment, strategic planning, and the condition to keep moving forward. The Emirates continue to strengthen its position as a global center for trade, logistics, and investment. Through innovation, digital transformation, smart infrastructure, and integrated supply chain solutions are creating new opportunity to enhance competitiveness and support sustainable growth. At the same time, the commitment to resilience and being ready for change remains central to everything we do. As business leaders, industry professionals, and institution partners, we all share a responsibility to ensure that our system remains agile, responsive, and future ready. Allow me to conclude with a simple thought. The strongest trade ecosystems are not defined by how they perform when conditions are easy. They are defined by how effectively they prepare, adopt, and continue moving forward when circumstances become more complex. Dubai has demonstrated this capability time and again, and I'm confident that together with you all, we will continue to build on that legacy for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that very inspiring and motivating speech. In fact, I'm sure your talk has given a lot of confidence among all the participants here. It was really reassuring to hear all the actions which is planned and the investment the government of Dubai is trying to do to support the industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And may I welcome Parasji and Ramesh on the stage. Thank you.
Wonderfully said.
Thank you. Thank you. Samash.
Really fantastic. Thank you. All the encouragement.
Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, good evening, my dear IBPC members, His Excellency Mr. Abdulla Damithan, for me a very, very personal and dear friend for the past many years. I have known him very closely. I must formally congratulate him to assume the charge of chairmanship of the Ports Customs Free Zone. I have known his level of cooperation and courage, and I'm sure both as chairman of the Ports, Customs and Free Zone Corporation and the current crisis which we are going through, he will be at the helm of affairs to support the entire business community. Friends, I came this morning from another country, I don't wish to name it, but when you arrive back, believe me, you feel in a different world. We feel so extremely blessed. And more blessed we are as we see the great relationship, which I must tell you is very unique. As you might have known, I have been a diplomat and worked in various different countries, but the bilateral relationship which we are nurturing, which we have, which we are in between India and UAE is absolutely unique, never seen. As you know, pretty recently, even His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, he visited New Delhi just for only a few hours, and if I can describe few hours, for 2 to 3 hours. So that is the importance of personal consultation on various different international issues, regional issues, bilateral confidence building, providing the energy security, food security, defense security, and so many things. So we all are extremely blessed to be in UAE and also enjoying this amazing, unique relationship between the two countries. Coming to the current situation, I have no hesitation in admitting that the situation is really not very comfortable and good. We have seen many various crises, as my previous speaker said, that we have gone through the Gulf War, of Kuwait War, then was the 9/11, then was the 2008 financial crisis, COVID, but I think this is one of the most trying circumstances for us. And the beauty is that we are all listening amazing speeches, actions, that how are we going to tackle this. Again, I'm just telling you from the bottom of my heart. I have never seen any government organizations, entities coming forward and asking us what are the problems, what are the difficulties, and providing instant solutions. Recently, we had a meeting with the Customs Director General, His Excellency Mr. Swaminathan, and he gave lightning decisions spontaneously on the spot. Okay, this will be done. You never see this from the government departments. So that is the response which we always get. The times are very testing. We must accept it. These are very extraordinary times, and we need some extraordinary initiatives. Both from the business and from the government entities. We have seen many supports coming in, and I'm sure more will be coming in. But the things are extremely tough. I'll just give you some small examples. The freight from mostly the manufacturing places are in the Far East and East, which is China or Vietnam. The freight used to be about 1,000 US dollars to Jebel Ali, which has now gone to US dollars 7,000. On top of that, the port Jebel Ali is not very active, apparently due to Hormuz closure. So we are getting material through Corfu, which was never prepared to handle as much cargo as Jebel Ali. So imagine the condition of Corfu. Now the material where we pay 7,000 up to Corfu, again we have to pay about 2,500 US dollars, not dirhams, from Corfu to Jebel Ali. On top of that, we have to pay, I think, dirhams, 2,800 to drop the empty container. Then the THC has also doubled up. It used to be 1,100 or whatever, is now 1,700 because of two places. So these burdens are extraordinary, both for the consumer, not very healthy. It will cause inflation, it will cause lack of business, lack of purchasing power. So the times are extraordinarily difficult. We must admit it. Now here we have to see how we can sort of resolve these. I'm sure the support of the departments like port authorities, which Mr. His Excellency Abdullah is heading, this is the most timely support which we would require at this stage. The biggest thing is that our friends in the government entities themselves are calling us, what sort of support do you want? That gives us huge source of courage and the tenacity to fight it back. I am very sure, as all of us said it, that Dubai has faced always, or UAE has faced always very, very tough situations, and every time we have come out with a bigger strength, with a better situation, with a better business. You have seen recently Imar talking about 200 billion investment in the real estate. Just now, Mr. Abdullah said it, His Excellency, that 300 billion is envisaged as investment. This is a massive amount, and I am sure we are going to see back Dubai in a much, much brighter, greater shape. It may take some time. Ramesh said it, our friend, that it can go up to 27. I hope it doesn't go that far. But the backlog is so much. The containers are stuck up everywhere. Our containers coming from China are being dropped. And I was speaking to one of the royal family. I said, they are being dropped. They said, what do you mean by dropped? Are they being thrown in the sea? I said, no. But they're being dropped in all over the places. Containers coming from China are being dropped at Mundra seaport, at Nhava Sheva, at Sri Lanka, back to Singapore, Djibouti. And how do you track them? You track them, then you call back the delay in the material coming in. You have promised material to so many different organizations. I am in electronics and home appliances. FIFA Cup has already starting tomorrow or the after. And we have no televisions to sell. And this is the best season for us. Imagine on one refrigerator, the freight is costing us as much as 40% of the price of the refrigerator or the washing machine. So the things are a little topsy-turvy, which I am sure we'll be able to handle it with the support of the local authorities here. They are always out. So with these few words, I thank Mr. Abdulla Damithan for giving us the support by coming on a Friday weekend in the evening time. I'm so much grateful to His Excellency for making it and showing his full support to the entire business community.
Thank you, Paresh, for that talk. Hopefully, all issues will be resolved as soon as possible. May not be before the World Cup is over or it's already started, but I think sooner. May I now request our ever smiling, Shairi loving Secretary General to come on the stage.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
The Shire to nahi, but if you are saying that Shire you are again. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. I'm here to make another announcement by the time the stage is set. Thank you, Parasji, for giving the after mathematics of the war situation from $1,000 to $10,000. And yes, the add-on. But as His Excellency mentioned that the challenge will change, but the principles remain constant. And with the announcement of that 300 billion support from the government, the policy advocacy of our parent body, Dubai Chambers, more than 200 policy advocacy meetings in the recent 2.5 months have been conducted. Each and every segment of the sectors, not only the supply chain, but the banking, the trade, the logistics, the support for the merchant banking, the support of digital economy. I think all the aspects are very well taken care, and that's how we are here. I would like to invite and introduce as our governor, Mr. Ramesh ji mentioned the Athah Shakti. Athat Shakti. Means the three Shaktis, the three powers. And the three powers, if I consolidate, are going to be three panelists here. And the moderator is again another fourth Shakti, and that Shakti's name is Siddhi Joshi. Siddhi Joshi is CEO of eMovers, very well connected with the logistics, the trade, and as it is a e-mover does not mean only the e-commerce movers, but it is an entire ecosystem related to the logistics. She is CEO of e-movers as well as she is IIM Ahmedabad's alumni. So I request Siddhi Joshi. She has 22 years age of experience.
Thank you so much. Am I letting you go without your shairi which was requested, Sahityaji? It will come. So, salam, namaste, good evening, folks. I'm really honored to be panelist for today. Amongst genuinely these three amazing panelists, I had my discussion with them even prior. So yeah, I'm very excited. With that note, joining us today is Nadia Abdul Aziz, one of the UAE's most respected leader in global trade and logistics. She is the president of the National Association of Freight and Logistics UAE and senior vice president of the International Federation of Freight Forwarders Association. Also, she is chair of the International Chamber of Commerce, Customs and Trade Facilitation in UAE. In her capacity of CEO and partner of United National Air, Sea and Cargo, she brings over 24 years of expertise connecting government, industry, and international trade communities. Nadia is known for her work in developing new trade corridors, empowering women in logistics, and strengthening UAE's position as a global logistic hub. Please welcome Nadia, a leader shaping UAE's global logistic policy. Thank you, Nadia. I would like all of you to help me joining Mr. Captain Swaminathan Rajagopalan, General Manager of CMA CGM UAE, one of the world's leading liner shipping groups, with a remarkable 35-year career across sailing and commercial shipping. He has served as a master mariner on multiple vessel types and spent last 18 years leading sales, trade management, and business development roles on shore. He holds postgraduate degree in international business operations and has been a guest faculty and governing council member at the Narottam Morarji Institute of Shipping. Widely respected as a mentor and industry leader, Captain Swaminathan is also known for shaping talent, strengthening customer solutions, and driving strategic growth in the region. Please welcome Captain Swaminathan Rajagopalan, a master mariner with 35 years of expertise across sailing and commercial shipping, now leading one of region's most influential career operations. Thank you, Captain Swami, and someone who got connected with me through the Bhagavad Gita tattoo and Bhagavad Gita lesson. Joining us is Mr. Ritesh S. Ramakrishnan, Managing Director of Transworld, where he has been a key force in shaping the group strategy and growth since 2010. He oversees all group operations and also serves as principal at Valley Capital, the family office of Transworld, with leadership credentials from Purdue, Harvard Business School, and Oxford. He brings a sharp global perspective to the industry, recognized by Forbes Middle East and multiple maritime awards as a next generation leader. He continues to drive innovation, profitable growth, and future-ready leadership across the logistics sector. Please welcome Mr. Ritesh S. Ramakrishnan, the next generation industry leader shaping the group strategy, growth, and global direction. Since now we have three Shaktis along with the Nari Shakti to Nari Shakti as well on stage, very nicely described by His Excellency Mr. Abdullah. Sir Paras, you had also given key highlights. Let me now navigate this discussion that today is not about only understanding how the industry is shaping or shifting, what is really happening behind the scene, and how businesses can navigate this landscape with clarity. In supply chain, genuinely there are no instant or one solution, but there are always smarter way of navigation. In a world where disruptions are becoming our new normal, genuinely planning is no longer optional. And shipping industry also works like our life logic, which says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Thank you, Nadia. So yes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's exactly why today's conversation matters. And to help us navigate this landscape, we have three powerful perspectives with us today. One is the industry voice, one is the career engine, and another one is regional bridge. And with that note, Nadia, with your deep involvement across global freight bodies and UAE trade councils, you have a unique view of entire ecosystem. To begin, help us understand what is the current situation in the freight and logistic market, and how is the Freight Association assisting traders, freight forwarders in navigating the challenge?
First of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, in times where we need a lot of peace. And Your Excellencies, thank you for hosting us, thank you for believing in the UAE, and thank you for also supporting the bilateral agreements, CEPA agreements, and the really good close relationship between the UAE and India. And it's not just these paperwork that have been signed. It's a close relation between even the people of the UAE and the people of India. That brotherhood, you cannot put a dollar sign on that. That goes long, long back. And we're honored, and I feel very emotional, to see with this problem, to see, and I'm very proud to see a lot of our Indian brothers and investors believe in Dubai and its leadership. And this is what keeps us going. And yes, the times are chaotic, unprecedented, never expected, shock to us, to the supply chain, to even us mentally, but we overcome that.
Absolutely.
And if we are not positive and recharged and think of the positive things and the alternative options and the backup contingency plan, whether it is war or caught up in this turmoil or any other disaster that we faced over the years, whether it's a financial crisis, healthcare pandemic, natural disaster, etc. We need to overcome. We need to have solutions. And this is the best time that I have seen the public-private sector working together, honestly. Your Excellency, you have been on all the meetings and your support has been phenomenal. Dubai Customs, the ministries sitting and really genuinely always asking us to collect industry issues, sit on the table, work together, and not work in silos. This is the time where I really see this working and things improving. Yes, we have a blockage. Yes, we've lost 95% of the vessels that come across Hormuz, but we are out, we are dining, our shelves are full. People are traveling, people are going to staycations, kids are going back to school, life is almost back to normal.
True, very
Yes, at a higher cost, but it's because we're resilient. And we, by the leadership, we've been taught in that. I sat with the traders' councils. Your containers were stuck. You didn't understand why these containers, as our colleague said, they were dropped off somewhere. And this is what happens when you have a war. The shipping line protocol says, end of voyage, drop it to the nearest port. And it can be Navashima, Mundra, Colombo, Karachi,
Right.
Singapore, and many of the traders did not know why this happened and why do they have to pay exorbitant cost to bring it maybe to Oman or Horfakan and then bring it all the way to Dubai and pay 5 to 6 times more. This is one of the main issues that we initially faced as traders and as forwarders because we have to pay that cost. And then we find it very difficult to convince our clients, the traders, that this is the situation. The shipping line are charging us this. It's landed up somewhere else. To bring it, you need to pay additional thousands of dollars, and then the land transportation from there to Jebel Ali, and then the empty containers, as mentioned, that's another challenge.
Very true.
So the containers being dropped, shipping lines are not calling to our ports, they're calling the eastern ports, or we are using alternate ports such as Oman, Horfakan, Fujairah, Jeddah, because we surpass the
Right.
Strait of Hormuz, however, at a higher cost. A lot of the issues that we're trying to overcome by working together are the delays in terms of operations, and sometimes it's not controllable. It is not Dubai ports or it is not UAE ports. UAE ports may not have the capacity, the eastern ports, as Jebel Ali, as we were used to, the high-end service, efficiency, etc. They were not meant to handle huge number of containers. They cannot. They have not been built for that. And using 3 alternate ports, Fujairah, Horfakan, Salalah, Oman, Duqm, you have Soha, all of these are still not enough to cover the capacity that we use for using Jebel Ali port.
Jebel Ali. Right.
So the trade corridors that we use, there's a green corridor as an initiative by DP World to make it easier for you in terms of documentation, reducing custom duty from Oman to UAE. And the process is as if you're bringing the shipment to the UAE to Jabal
True,
Ali.
true.
So documentation part is easier in that way, but you need to also be connected to the customs and ports to get the process, how to handle that, what documentation you need to do, what systems you need to use, how you can benefit from this green corridor. When it comes to exports, this is mainly import. When it comes to exports, it's still limited, but we're working on that. It started almost 4 weeks back with the coordination, very close coordination with the Ports Authority, the customs, to assist you export your goods. So through different corridors, through the eastern also ports, as well as Oman or Saudi Arabia. But inbound cargo from Saudi Arabia, Oman may also witness delays. For example, X-ray might take from Saudi Arabia, Jeddah to UAE maybe 2 weeks because
Very
of the
true.
congestion.
Very true.
There is a shortage because we're using a lot of trucks. We used to collect our products mostly, let's say, from Jabal Ali port. It's a short trip. Right now, the trucks are doing long haul trips with huge delays. So instead of a truck doing 3 trips a day, it's doing 1 or 1 in every 2 days. There is a shortage, so you need to bear with us on that. And this also can be an opportunity for the
Thank
hauliers
you
here.
so much, Nadia.
And I can go on and on.
I can totally agree. As the UAE's largest infrastructure company, e-movers, and we are into service providing for end users. I had completely gone through everything, whatever details you had given, because yes, these are our day-to-day challenges where charges are from everywhere,
Yes.
and when we are going to end user, it's real challenge. Many a times end users now, they do not even want to take custody of the cargo.
The war risks are
Because
charged.
the value of the cargo is no longer now sufficient
Yes.
enough for them to pay heavy amount for anything. So thank you so much, Nadia. It was very nice what you had sold.
Just before I go,
Yes.
if you find difficulties with the sea freight and your customer is willing to pay that extra mile to have less hassle, air freight is doing a phenomenal job. The national carriers such as Emirates,
True,
Etihad,
true.
Air Arabia, Fly Dubai are amazingly doing an amazing job for inbound, outbound. Also getting cargo delivered to GCC airports and final customers, and also they've got the capacity of bringing trucks empty into the UAE. If you've got cargo, you can use their haulier service inbound into the UAE because they take the cargo out
Right.
and in is empty, which is an opportunity.
This is what we were discussing in our networking session between by 6:30, where I was telling you the biggest challenge is people do not have complete information of or the knowledge on how to navigate, and I'm sure this panel discussion will at least open some arena for our audience. So thank you, Nadia. With that, I would like to now ask Captain Swami, with your decades of experience, both at sea and the commercial side, you sit right at the heart of global shipping operations. From the career perspective, how are current regional disruptions affecting cargo movement and trade flows?
So, good evening, everybody, and good evening. Thanks to the IBPC team to invite me over here. I'm a newcomer in the UAE, just to first introduce myself. But I've been really quite overwhelmed seeing the way business happens over here. The resilience word is what His Excellency Abdulla Bin Damithan was also mentioning a couple of times. That really holds good. Just to give some figures over here, right? I think figures speak a lot. The overall market, Strait of Hormuz, is not just about UAE. The Strait of Hormuz includes the entire GCC, or let's say at least the 6 major countries that is there. What we are talking about over here is roughly 230,000 TEUs 230,000 TEUs on a weekly basis, that is through the Strait of Hormuz. Out of this 230, we are looking at close to 103,000 TEUs as far as the February 2026 market data is concerned, which only belongs to UAE. If you take the 103,000, we are looking at a split of 65-35, roughly on the imports and the exports split. There is a reason why I am mentioning these figures for your information. The moment the crisis started, the pipeline, when we initially started, was hardly 10 to 15% in terms of the gateway capacity availability. I'm talking about the East Coast ports and their readiness at that point of time. Just imagine, from 103,000 straight away to 10%. You can very well imagine the challenges that were in front of us. Not to mention the volumes which were stuck outside, not just the capacity, but the volumes which were stuck overall across the globe. We are talking about figures of 138 ships which transit the Hormuz on a daily basis. As far as, let's say, the UAE is concerned, I've just noted down, we were talking about roughly pre-crisis, and we all know that Jebel Ali and Khalifa handles close to 88% of the 103,000 TEUs. Okay, 88%. Now just imagine this entire 88% now has to shift onto the East Coast ports. So we are definitely looking at a challenge, and historically we have seen that the volumes which comes in has been not just the local UAE, and it was also heading towards Saudi, which plays, I would say, roughly 26% of the overall volumes, the 230,000 TEUs. UAE, of course, is around 45%, Iraq at 17%, and the rest is the other countries. On the inbound volumes, Asia, of course, continues to be a very big player, imports predominantly with a 50% share, followed by the Indian subcontinent, okay, which is the second biggest market. Now, why am I mentioning this? Today, from the 10%, we have already come up to close to about 40% in terms of our volumes. And this is a fantastic feat, I would say, in the current scenario. And when we speak about this 40%, this is purely because the imports has gone up close to about 70% of the volumes that used to come in. The issue is on the exports front, which is still struggling, and this is predominantly because the focus has been on ensuring the food security aspect and the essentials that is required to come into the nation.
Thank you so much. I am actually data-driven person, and suddenly when you had given all the statistics, all the data, now I can see that, okay, no matter how dark side we are seeing, but there are always positive aspects in any situation. So thank you, Captain Swami, for sharing your insights. With that, I would like to hear from Ritesh. With your experience leading Transworld's transformation and your global perspective on the future logistics, I want to know how critical is speed of decision making during disruption and what enables organization to respond effectively.
Thank you, and good evening, Your Excellency. Good evening to the governors of IBPC and all the members here. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you to my colleagues here as well. think before I get to that, I just want to add to some of the data points. You got me thinking, so I was scribbling from both of you what you were saying. So I'll give you a third perspective. I'll give you a ship owner's perspective.
Okay.
And then this is kind of directly linked into some of the pricing, to some of the things that we spoke of. So real life example, we had several ships in the region, but for this story, we have one ship. The ship was operating in Jebel Ali when all of these issues happened. The ship still happens to be outside in Jebel Ali anchorage, different story. But like us, every other ship owner got a letter from our insurance club the same day, if not the next morning, telling us, hope you're all okay. Congratulations, there's a war. We are now moving to a war risk situation. The zone and the area has been rezoned. If you don't want to prejudice your insurance, we have 72 hours, and these are your new premiums. And the new premiums were, as everyone has discussed over here, and some of the numbers and figures, were upwards of significantly multiplied by whatever it was. So lots of these things, lots of these matters, I think, like we've all been saying, I think a lot of it is to also do with the amount we're able to communicate to everyone within the ecosystem, within the industry, whether they're trading, shippers, whatever they are. The challenges are real, but I think and I'll come back to it maybe a little later, but in terms of decision making, in terms of, I think that is the question. I think the quicker, and we've seen this in the UAE, we've seen this in Dubai, right? Problems happen, and we've all been talking about it. Another word that I want to introduce is agility. And why I say agility is the quickness with which you can make decisions. Organizations have different structures, you have flat structures, you have hierarchies, you have all of that. And sometimes, I think we, if I can use the phrase, shoot ourselves in the foot by trying a lot of the fancy governance structures and getting into that and slowing decision making. I think organizations that are able to adapt and cut through the noise and make those decisions quicker are the ones that are able to at least identify where they can kind of put their head above water and see what's going on. But what is really interesting, and an example I would like to give, is the decision making on a government level. Again, we've spoken about it, a couple of others before us spoke about it. It's extremely rare to see the kind of information, clear communication, and the quick decision making of the UAE and Dubai governments. And I'm not just saying this because His Excellency is here, but it's very rare, believe me, to see, and we all come from India, we have allegiance to India, but the way that things are able to be moved and communicated quickly and decisions taken based on real-time inputs coming from trade is, I think, what sets this country apart. And we're seeing that, right? I think challenges are what they are, but the other perspective is, if that wasn't the case, we would not be with the figures that Captain Swami said. It would be a very different scenario.
Absolutely true, Ritesh. And I can completely agree what you are saying, that no situation is permanent. But one thing I had seen permanently, which is faith and leadership of UAE. So we all had seen COVID, we came out of it with flying colors, and very positive that yes, today when we all are here, no, I don't think so anyone is having any solution. But yes, the journey is about how are we planning to navigate the situation, and whatever discussion we had so far, that has given us clear view of a landscape. Now let's talk about how each of you is navigating these realities in real time. So my question to you, Nadia, in your view, what advice would the Freight Association give to traders and freight forwarders to help them manage current market condition and supply chain disruption?
First of all, the traders, the decision makers and the owners of the companies, I'm not just talking about the operations, it should be from top also, should have sufficient knowledge on the industry or gain knowledge, work closely with the freight forwarders, understand the shipping line mechanisms. What we've noticed is lack of understanding on the shipping line and the costs they are incurring in this situation. So huge surcharges, fuel, being stuck, paying for all the stuff that are stuck on the vessel, insurance, war risk. And we've seen DP World was one of the phenomenon companies who have come with a war risk insurance for the vessels, for the cargo, for the airlines, etc. And we were waiting for this, and at decent costs, not really exorbitant costs with what was available in the market. And the second one was also one of the national companies, Time Orient, was also offering that, which gives us confidence in the industry and reassures us as stakeholders, whether shipping line or not. Look at your contracts, work closely with the freight forwarder, with the associations. If you've got a problem, visit the customs, visit the ports, send official complaints if you need help. Look at the breakdown from your forwarder. There are sometimes misuses by forwarders, I must say and admit. We've been telling them to work ethically. Do not use this situation or misuse it to gain a lot of money. This is not the time. You know, you can charge your profit margin, but be reasonable. Don't overcharge land transportation when it's a tariff rate that is handled by Gulf Taylor and DP World, and people know the rates. So because of a lot of misunderstanding and misuse sometimes by liners or freight forwarders, we worked very closely with DMA and the ports, and the tariff rates were announced by the ministry. The cost of moving the containers from Khorfakan. So this helps the forwarder, the trader knows the basic land transportation costs across the UAE to Jebel Ali, etc. Decide, look at the air freight. Air freight is more efficient right now. Emirates Airlines is willing to help, and the other national airlines to help the traders bring in their goods. If their goods are stuck, they are willing to work and bring your goods and offer you competitive rates, so they say. If not, look at the alternate corridors and check the documentation part. So if you're bringing in any cargo that is supposed to be duty exempted, and you're bringing it as a normal cargo import from Oman or Saudi, you'll be stuck with huge amounts of custom duty, which we will get that problem, and the UAE stakeholders will have to help you figure this out, because normally you will bring it into Jebel Ali and it's duty exempted. Whereas when you get it through other ports, this is one of the issues that you're gonna face, and your money is gonna be stuck. This is one issue. Look at the different corridors. Khorfakan.
Check for the alternatives.
Perishable goods, urgent goods. If you've got anything that needs to be prioritized, please speak to DP World and Customs and the Port Authority. And the day your container is supposed to arrive, you need to inform Gulf Tainer that you need it directly to Jebel Ali. Otherwise, you will pay double transportation. If this is not done, it will be put into the other container depots. You are going to pay 3,500, then another 3,500 to transport it to Jebel Ali or wherever. So all of these, compare apple to apple, different corridors versus from Saudi, from Oman, and bear in mind the delays from the other markets. Because you're not dealing with UAE customs, there is security sensitivity, there are delays, there are lack of equipment, and for the ports, for example, some ports may not have enough forklifts, some ports the scanning machines might take place because of security issues. Containers take, an example is 2 weeks, which we have seen as a regular example, 2 weeks for a container to get scanned.
We are actually witnessing that, Nadia. Thank you so much. You have given really valuable information, and I can resonate what my mentor says, that you don't get what you expect, you get what you inspect. So here, awareness is the key, and it's better that we are watchful what charges are being charged on us and what we are doing it. So with that, Captain Swami, from career side, your perspective becomes very important here. What are the most important steps to maintain operational continuity during this disruption? And how can companies improve resilience without driving costs too high?
So the first and foremost thing, like I said, the day the crisis happened, immediately we were very happy by the initiatives taken by the government. And this was one of the best actions in terms of establishing what we call it as the green corridor. I think it was a perfect shot that was played, I would say. And that helped in a very big way. Just to give an example in terms of the number, we are talking about in excess of around 10,000 odd trips that a company like CMA does on a weekly basis. Just for your information on what we call it as the Green Corridor. The Green Corridor was established. The boxes which were stuck, not dumped, but stuck in various ports across the world, eventually started flowing in, and through the gateways of Fujairah and Corfacan started coming to its intended destination, whether it was in Jebel Ali, whether it was in Khalifa, or the Northern Emirates ports of, I would say, Sharjah, or Kuwait, Ajman, or Ras Al Khaimah. So everything was flowing smoothly. Today, we have a very clearly structured services, planned, scheduled services, which has been designed to start off with. I would also like to mention over here, our chairman had specific discussion with the higher members in the ministry. And the first and foremost thing, as I mentioned, was the food security.
Right.
So the first service that was deployed under the new, let's say, avatar, was the service between India and the Middle East.
So,
Okay, and the UAE. This we call it as the Bijix service. Now the moment this was, why am I mentioning this to you, is predominantly pre-crisis, the amount of reefers, refrigerated cargo that we were handling, and post the crisis, the number today is the same. Just to mention, it's a very big achievement for us. Like I mentioned, the number is the same for the reefers. That means the food security, because 2-3 times I think Mr. Ramakrishnan also mentioned, all the shops, all the stacks were full with the food.
very true.
That is exactly what happened. So this is number one. The second thing, on the Green Corridor, as a company, we have moved today more than 100,000 TEUs on the Green Corridor. The only thing which we are expecting the government now to support us is the Green Corridor opening up on the outbound leg.
Correct.
Because for any country,
Yeah.
when we talk about resilience, we need to take care of our exports as well. And when we talk about costs, the direction flow of cargo has to be both ways. Even though it is 65-35, but the 35 has to come out.
Absolutely.
Okay. Couple of things more that I would like to mention over here. We had a fantastic interaction and close coordination that happened between the ports, and I'm talking about competing ports together. We are talking about fantastic coordination with the customs of various emirates, whether it is Ras Al Khaimah in the north, or whether it is Khalifa or the Dubai customs in the center. Fantastic coordination with all the custom authorities, and we have been trying to move the goods seamlessly. And it's not again just the UAE, we are also talking about the brothers in the neighborhood of the adjacent countries. One more important thing that most of the ports and terminals who had also taken the initiative was of establishing various ICDs and depots. And I just saw the latest being announced as the Alawir depot by DPW. In addition to this, I would also like to mention over here, there is something which is called as a UN locator code.
that has been now published, which for a long time it was not published, and now the UN locator codes have been published for a lot of inland container depots in the UAE. This was just done, I think, in the second or third week of May. And this is a very big achievement for all of us, which means we are also talking about cargo arriving right up to the inland container depot. Okay, so a lot of activities that has been there. As I mentioned earlier, we are almost 40% of the pre-crisis volumes, and with the exports also going up, I'm sure we will be there soon.
Absolutely. Your data is really giving positivity and good news in this situation. So I am personally very glad. With that, Ritesh, I want to know your perspective. What are businesses increasingly expecting from their logistic partners today, since you are the bridge currently?
On a lighter note, as long as it's not miracles, I think we're okay. So, no, but I think, I mean, for us, at least the way we've looked at it and some of the initiatives that we've carried out through this, first and foremost, I think to just communicate and be there for the customers, right? I think whatever the options are, and again, both of you all have kind of covered it in a lot of detail, and I don't want to repeat a lot of that. These are all, it's a real-time situation. Again, I go back to agility. Things are happening, things are changing, and there's a lot of agility and adaptability, which is where we have solutions. But as a logistics partner, logistics company, I think clear communication is the absolute key. We may not have all the answers, but I think that's also a good thing to say that we don't have the answer. Give us X or Y time, and we'll come back to you with something that may help you make your decision. I think the biggest, as a fraternity, sometimes we can go into our own shell, and sometimes we believe that less information is better, and I think we've definitely been very guilty of it in the past. But I think that's a very old mindset. And today, the more you can speak and the more you can share, keeps everybody on an even keel. Reaching out to your customers, regardless whether there's an issue, whether there's a live shipment or not, I think it's the responsibility. And ma'am, you said it in terms of reference to in terms of profitability and all of that. I think more than that, exactly on those lines rather. It is a responsibility on all of us as a logistics shipping fraternity, because we are the backbone of all our customers, traders, and the country's backbone, whether it's food security and everything else. We owe it to them, to the industry, to be as open and transparent, and to be as available for our customers as we can be. Day, night, it doesn't matter. It's the war. It's a situation that's a crisis. We have a chance to be part of some solutions. We can't hide away, and we need to be there right in front of the customers, regardless of what it is, good or bad. So that's kind of how we've been looking at it. From the day all of this started, our teams have been on the ground, reaching out, speaking, and consistently doing that. So that's something for me.
Thank you so much, Ritesh. And yeah, when we are also having many customer service working for our company, we had seen they take tremendous pressure, but they are really coping up, responding each and every query, no matter how many times clients are asking same question. And you're very correct, when we don't have anything, but still we are available for our client. So great conversation so far. Let's keep the momentum going with some questions from audience now. So
I just want to say, as the questions come, I think we are an essential service as an industry, and I think it's important that we also realize it and, of course, give it back that way. So
the freight that we finalized before 28th February, the freight was $4,000. When the material came, they sent us a bill for $11,000. And now when we told, since I'm in projects business, contracts business, when I talk to my client that the freight has gone from 4,000 to 11,000, can we increase the price? They said, no, you have signed a contract, it's a lump sum fixed contract, cannot be changed. When I go back to the freight agent, that you are contracted already before 20th February. Future years you can increase, but this you should maintain, absorb the losses, or at least partly losses. One line reply comes, tomorrow your demurrage starts.
Yes.
That is the reply I receive. Then I go back to them, on what basis you have gone from 4,000 to 11,000, at least tell us the basis, which we can explain to possibly to our client. Again, the one-liner comes back that if the payment is not done by tomorrow night, the day after tomorrow, the demurrage will start. When I ask them that normally demurrage starts after 7 days and you have given us the notice yesterday only, they say 6 days are consumed for bringing container from Khorfakon to Jabal Ali. So 6 days is to your account, only 1 day you get to pay, otherwise your demurrage starts. Do we have anything that can be helped the companies like us?
Honestly, I've seen even forwarders complaining about the same thing. Shipping lines, and because a lot of us don't understand the industry of the shipping line, what costs they incur. Everybody assumes that they are overcharging us. But if I would bring you a table of shipping lines, people from the shipping lines, they would tell you the millions and millions of dollars they pay by day. Yeah. And I think my colleague here will tell us and give us an update. But where they can help you with costs, and some of the respected shipping lines have really supported the industry. We have called them to the customs majlis and looked and break down all the costs and looked at what are the reasonable costs, what are realistic costs that they are actually incurring, and where there is maybe overcharging, if any. And once you see the transparency and the breakdown, you will be able to request maybe a discount, or on the storage. A lot of the liners may be able to help with that, but the charges, the freight charges, a lot of it is controlled in their headquarters. Most of these shipping lines are multinationals, so decisions are usually not also made here. And I think my colleague can elaborate more. From a freight forwarder's perspective, we take the first hit. Before you take it, I have to pay.
No, in our case, the complete beating is on us. Contract side, we have a lump sum contract, not 1 dirham we can increase. This side, freight agent, all material is with him. If I am delaying, then I am getting penalty from the client also, because my delay is penalty. And if I am delaying, the reply is only one-liners. Your demurrage is about to start. You pay tomorrow evening, our demurrage is about to start.
I wouldn't be the right person to comment on this one, but no, force majeure is one aspect of it. So I will just talk from the shipping lines point of view. I wouldn't deny that we have not charged the additional freight. Yes, we have charged the additional war risk or what we call it as the emergency conflict surcharge. But there is a specific background and the reasoning also for that specific thing. Just to give an update, today we are sitting on a pile of close to 120 or 130,000 odd boxes inside the Gulf. 3 months passed, not a single earning of revenue, number one. All of them are incurring storage costs in all the ports that are wherever, or depots, wherever it is there. We have close to about 13 odd vessels inside, let's say, the Arabian Gulf or the Strait of Hormuz, which is also incurring the charter cost without any earnings. All this said and done, there are additional costs which are incurred at various transshipment ports across the globe. To get those cargo, the entire ships, I would say, needs to be changed as far as the schedule is concerned to meet. We are talking about 18 services that CMA CGM operates in this specific geography, and we had to attend or reroute 95 vessels from its intended voyages. 95 vessels. So, I don't know whether I'll be able to answer exactly as I mentioned, but just to give the gravity of what all are the issues that are there. But all said and done, Wherever genuine cases have come to us, we have definitely, on a case-to-case basis, attended to those respective items as well. So, this is what I would like to mention.
Can I supplement?
Yes.
So I think just to supplement to what Captain said, what we've seen, sir, at least as a forwarder, and I think the initial reaction from trade, from the shipping lines, from forwarders was one of an escalation of costs and so on and so forth. So the initial reaction was almost like a block, like what you said. What we have seen, even working with all the shipping lines, as this has gone on, you are able to have conversations with them. And they've also been able to go back and work out something to find a middle ground. If they can. And I think the increases, again, another perspective from a shipping, you're a seafarer. I mean, the amount of people that have also been stuck here during this crisis on board the ships. So all of this is a realistic additional cost incurred. I'm not saying if it's fair or right or wrong, but I have also found in the last few weeks, maybe the last month, conversations with shipping lines have become a lot more positive, where they have also realized and been able to assess realistically how much or where they are, and they're willing to have conversations and come back to something that's more sensible.
Now, since you are the head of the general management, do you think it's justified $4,000 to $11,000? Is it justified?
It's war. This is blocked.
Multiple questions, so we have to pose.
Is it justified to have $4,000 to $11,000?
I mean, I can. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to answer if it's justification or not, but we are in a war, and it's a war that has never been experienced in the region and in the world in terms of its impact on shipping and logistics, and all of us here. It's unique, it has never happened before. To add to some numbers of what Captain Swaminathan said, Jebel Ali Port, the throughput of the UAE is more than the throughput of India, if I'm not wrong. And if those are the numbers, then the scale and the quantum of what is going on is unheard of. So whether it's justified or not, I'm not going to say. But we have to all appreciate, as much as I appreciate what you're saying, we must also appreciate what this is unique. It has never happened before. Never.
I don't even Ramesh already. At that time, I told him, Baba, people that paid 63,000 on each 42 and no certain something. Here is the one. And he gave me the board is charging could call me $1,000 per day. That you mentioned, right?
I'm talking about the hazardous cargo.
Yeah,
I am pretty mostly handling the overseas business. And I have, of course, I'm just last 50 years in Dubai and founder member of IBPC. But I'm relaxing more now, not more than, I'm not doing much business, but I'm relaxing now. But still, I have a lot of overseas customers. I'm handling their business, especially like a logistic as a distributor, as a broker, agent, or whatever you say. The whole UAE has lost the money from the country facing now, but people have made money from there. So the time will change. I have seen 4 crises. Every time we come up, every time I have lost much better. I have lost in 2008. I have lost 80% by getting. Today I make double. 2008 I lost everything. 2010 I did my daughter wedding in Atlanta. In 2014 I did my son wedding in the H hotel. I have own property in Toronto. Well said. The Dubai is a really opportunity.
So I fully agree with you, sir. And maybe I'll just drop in a question.
Yes, I'm still here. Now I'm 72, 50 years I'm still here. Okay. Peacefully, desert, now it's a paradise. So all of us relax, enjoy, right?
Yeah, I think the lady over here, or
Yeah, sorry, let me just start and then go to Jaya. So my question is a little more future looking. And it's not about when the ceasefire gets announced. It's also not about the next 180 days after that, because the situation is not going to normalize for at least the next 6 months. And even when the ceasefire does come up, the credibility, all of that is a huge question mark.
So what is very clear as businesses is that the way we will need to operate a year down the line is very different to the way we operated earlier. Even for JAVSA, it's built for scale. I don't know if that's how we would plan to utilize infrastructure going forward. I know there's a lot of work which is going on in handling the current situation, and there will be a lot of work and decision making in handling the next 6 months and unwinding the current situation. Just keen to hear your thoughts on, are there any triggers, are there any areas which you are exploring on what do you need to do now to be better prepared for what the requirement or needs would be a year down the line when we are hopefully behind this, but we'll still have businesses who would have to factor in something like this coming up at short notice or other such scenarios. So maybe comments would be really appreciated on this.
So, in couple of interactions, what I came to know, which I didn't attend personally, but I was told that irrespective of the crisis getting over or not, the East Coast ports would continue to command a share of the overall volumes that goes out of UAE. Which means we are talking about a contingency which would be made as a norm. So that is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is with regards to the land bridging concept, coast to coast, was not something that was, I would say, visualized or put in practice before, because the ease of having a port right at your door, let's say when you mentioned about JAVSA, having Jebel Ali over there is one of the best. But definitely, going forward, we would be looking at multiple options. I would like to keep JAVSA separate because of the taxation aspect of it, the free zone concept. But definitely the others would be more than happy because they would be having multiple options available in front of them. So this is the second part of it. The feeder connectivity is something that we are also looking at it, which means it's not just the main line, we are also looking at having multiple shuttle services which would take care of it. And when I talk about this, it's not just the UAE, it's the entire GCC as a whole. So this is from the shipping lines point of view.
Thank you, Mr. Swami. Since time is pressing, Shagufta will take only last question from Jaya ma'am.
Thank you. An excellent discussion, I must say, and all very eloquent panelists. So thank you so much. We go back feeling very educated and, of course, very emotionally charged as well, as you can see. My question is simple. The other day we were driving off to Abu Dhabi, and with great pleasure saw Etihad Rail going on with lots of cars on it. Can any of you throw some light on how this is progressing and what we saw? Is that for real?
So I can just add and give it to you. I think just to add to what Captain Swami said, I think the concept of multimodal logistics, if I can use that term, is something that we were never really used to in the UAE because of, again, ease of and access of ports and all of that. That actually will become a very huge part in de-risking a lot of businesses, de-risking the way trade and logistics happens in the UAE. The moment you're able to do that, today I think a lot of the discussion was on road transportation. Hindsight is great, but if we had the Etihad rail ready quicker, perhaps we would not have had as much of a load on road transportation and would have had a different mode of transport to move our goods. So I think it actually bodes very well for us. I'm not sure of the exact timelines of rollout. Maybe ma'am, you can fill us in if you're aware. But it'll only be better and it'll actually give more optionality to trade over here. That's my view.
Would it be cheaper?
Logically, yes. Logically, yes.
Thank you so much. It was really pleasure. All the insightful information. Since time is pressing, I believe we will stop our panel discussion here. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Hello. Hi. I'm Surya. I am heading the supply chain for Hira Industries. We are a manufacturer in HVAC since 1980. And thank you, Ms. Nadia. You spoke on behalf of all of us and most of the field part. You spoke about. My question is to Mr. Swaminathan. We are expanding actually, and we have to import these special equipments like outage and up and down cargo and all. And our factory is ready. We were about to launch our new product lines and all in the month of March. Then all these things happen, and we have already paid for our machines and everything. We are ready. But since the special equipments no liners are taking or there is a lag, and how can you help with that?
For the bell rings again. So Sunil, just to keep you updated, I mentioned about the first service that we launched between India to UAE. This also carries cargo from across the globe, and India being the hub. We also do a service at Fujairah from Asia, from China predominantly. OG, just to clarify, out of the 5 vessels that we operate in that specific loop, 4 of them are geared vessels, means ships with their own cranes. So, as far as acceptance of special cargo is concerned, that is something that is acceptable. Again, the dimensions, we need to definitely look at it, and then we can definitely progress. But specials is being accepted, just to clarify, as Nadia had mentioned, it's more of a communication gap that is there. On the hazardous cargo and chemical front, I would like to take a step back at this moment of time, but specials is something that is there. Perfect. Priyanka? Perfect. I'll touch with you and not an issue on that.
We can.